Morning to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. And that is what we are going to do. Dive right in to the deep end of the pool. How many of you, when you were kids, when you were learning how to swim, you would wade in very slowly? Maybe you'd start in on the children's part. There's sometimes a whole pool just for the children. That's only about 2 feet deep, but it's enough to get wet and it's enough to feel the water and to play. And then the time comes when you have to start learning how to swim. And maybe at first you need the security of feeling the pool ground beneath you, and you can stand there. You've got about 3 feet, and maybe it comes right up to your neck. But there comes a point when you have to go to the deep end, where you don't feel anything beneath you, but you can dive. You can dive to the deepest part of that pool, just like a mystic dives to the deepest part of the ocean and finds jewels and treasures that you would never find on the shore. Well, that is what we are here to do. We're here to come into a direct experience of simply this: God is, and you are that. How simple. God is. Now, those may just sound like a couple of words, but the impact of those words, if we really take them in, if we really dive to feel and to receive the true impact of what that means, that God is, the divinity is real. This is not something that we've just made up or something that feels good or that helps us get through life and the noise next door or all the trouble going on in the world. It's not just that. Sure, it may help with those things, but the experience of God is, and I am that. Actually, say those words with me. God is, and I am that. God is, and I am that. You can feel that. There's a radiation that comes from that. God is. This is reality itself. And I am contained within that reality. So we're going to start off with a little song that I created last night using a few words that come from the master teacher, and then we're going to dive even deeper into that same list. So please enjoy this.
It's time to let go of yourself. It's time to come home to love. It's time to let go of yourself. It's time to come home to love, only love.
God is and you are that. God is and you are that. God is and you are that.
Only love.
God is and you are that. God is and you are that. God is and you are that. The miracle is nothing but the relinquishment of your thought form association with yourself. And it will make absolutely no difference what goes on in the battlefield because you've risen above it. God is and you are that. 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 God is and you are that.
God is and you are that. What a simple message. I love taking these short little nuggets from recordings that he did in Wisconsin decades ago. In fact, what I'm always trying to do, those of you who live there will understand, I'm always trying to find the ones where there's not a lot of noise going on in the background, because it was a very energetic community. You hear a lot of enthusiasm, we'll call it, a lot of energy, explosions. And so I'm always looking for little bits that don't have a lot of noise, but still have that energy. And just those words, God is and I am that, says it all. And also the beginning of that, where I sing, it's time to let go of yourself, which is a follow-up from the message that we had yesterday, to let go. We've all heard the saying, let go and let God. Simple words, but they mean so much when you take them in, when you live them. To let go of my need to be who I thought I was. To let go of my dependence on an illusion that I took for reality. To let go of an identity that isn't. And then we come back to God is, and I am that. I am God. I am the divine. Yes, but not the you that you've claimed. That's what you're letting go of. You're opening your fist instead of holding tight that illusion, the idea, the thought form of James or Ravi or anyone else. Letting go of my need, literally my need to claim something that is not. And there's one more part of that. Now, we could look at that as either and or but. Usually the ego looks at it as a but, and because we all have a big but, in the end, right? There's always a big but right in the middle of it all. But we're going to use an and rather than a but, because I'm going to borrow something from Sri Nisargadatta that actually Jet sent me last night. Jet loves to send me quotes, especially from Nisargadatta, and this one meant a lot. So it's all of that we just said and claimed. God is and I am that, and I do find myself in this moment living out this experience of what we'll call James, or what we'll call a body form relationship. And with that comes certain things. The question is, how attached am I going to be to those things? Am I just going to let them come and then go? Or am I going to hold on to them, even to the sickness, even to the eventual demise of this body form, and give it importance? Or just watch it? Whatever. The body does what the body does. It doesn't mean anything about who I am, because I am an extension of the love and the loveliness of God. God is, and I am that. So I'm going to share something from Nisargadatta about this. And we all know him. He's we should put him up here on my thing, because we talk about him a lot. For those of you who are watching, there are three pictures here right in front of me. One is Yogananda, who we hold very dear in this community. We actually have the largest painting of Yogananda in the whole world right up here in front of us. The master teacher and Anandamaya Ma. Maybe we'll put a picture of Nisargadatta in there as well at some point. But here is this old Indian guy smoking his little beady, what do you call those cigarettes? Beady cigarettes. He's got his little cigarette shop right outside. And Jet was telling me that when he would do satsang and he would just sit there, people would come to him, and his job was just to redirect people's minds away from illusions back into truth. And isn't that what we're doing right now? Redirecting the mind from illusion into truth. And when people would come and say, well, can I offer you money for that? for your satsang? And he would say, no, I don't want money for the satsang, but you can go out and buy some cigarettes if you want. Go out and buy something at the shop. That would help. So this is an extraordinary man whose effusion of grace and wisdom was so incredible. He knew who he was. So, and yet he also realized that he was in this body form. So Nisargadatta, this is what he said, that even when one abides in the I am awareness, the body mind with all of its needs still functions. He says, I see as you see, I hear as you hear, I taste as you taste, eat as you eat. I also feel thirst and hunger, and I expect my food to be served on time. When starved or sick, my body and my mind go weak. All this I perceive quite clearly, but somehow I am not in it. That's the key. He says, I perceive these things. Sure, I'm feeling hunger right now. I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get a glass of water, but I don't find myself in it. He finds himself above it all. So he has begun by affirming that as long as the body mind exists and is functioning, there is always the normal flow of sense perception, the seeing, the hearing, the tasting, all of that. But, well, I should say not but. And he knows who he really is, that God is, and I am that. He says, I also feel thirst and hunger and expect my food to be served on time. That shows that even a person established in the I am consciousness still has bodily needs, still has expectations of what the body is needing to survive. So all of this he perceives quite clearly, but somehow he says, I'm not in it. I feel myself floating as if floating over it, aloof and detached. I think this is a really beautiful description of where we find ourselves often. Sometimes we hear this teaching and we say, yeah, but that person got a cold. Or that person is sitting eating just like anyone else is sitting and eating. Shouldn't they be above all of that? Give up any idea that you have of what that should look like, because it's going to look like however it looks. This body form is going to be and act and do whatever it needs to act and be and do. But that does not change the fact that I am that. God is. And I can be lifted above that even when I'm still operating through this body form. And that's why A Course in Miracles says that the body is really nothing more than a communication device. This is just something that I'm using right now to communicate a beautiful message to you, but it's not who I am. Yes, I'm going to come and eat dinner or lunch later, but that has nothing to do with the fact that God is. And I am that. Say it with me again. God is, and I am that. God is, and I am that. And whatever. Whatever comes after that. And I find myself needing to feed this body and whatever, but I don't take it. I'm aloof and above. I can lift above it all and see everything while using this as my communication device. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So I thank the master teacher for that little nugget. You know, the other thing about putting together these little videos is that I think I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Uh, I'm having to sort through hours and hours of this stream of wisdom and incredible energy to find one little clip that says God is and I am that. One little tiny, a few words that contain the energy of the whole. like a hologram. And for someone who maybe has just entered into the session room where he would share with us, people like Els and Amrit know this, that it was overwhelming because the stream of his consciousness was so whatever it was, whatever it was. But these little nuggets that we can put music to contain the whole. And I hope you can feel that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead. Let's bring Penny Honey in first this time, and then Vicky, you can close us down. So come on in, Penny Honey. What do you want to share?
Do I want to share?
God is, and I am that. God is, and I am that. And then I look out there and I think, God is, and I'm that. Because when I'm that isn't so attractive, that isn't so happy, that isn't so pleasant, God is. God is greater, God is present, God is. Right there in the middle of that. Now, I would never have a moment like that. I would never be embarrassed. I would never feel less than. I would never question that God isn't showing up as 100% as me in any given moment. I'd never do that. I'm sure no one in this room, in Zoom, on YouTube, but I have read about those people. God is, and I am that. And some moments it's much more pleasing than others. And that is when we know, as we talked about yesterday, God is letting go. God is also not being attached to that identity, not taking that on as the expression of who I am as one with God. God is. And I can be that, and God still is. And in that, I find peace. I find safety. I find connection. Because when I look out and I see the humanness in myself, expressing in a way that I am not enjoying very much, when I see it in you, I can go back to God is. God is. I like that idea. I had my book out this morning again, Stillness Speaks. And I love the way that happens, James. You start talking, and I read it this morning at 5:30 a.m. God is, and we are. God is, and we are. We're one, and we're connected. And it's our choice to stay available to that. Or not, but God still is. That's the point. When you know who you truly are, there is an abiding, alive sense of peace. You could call it joy, because that's what joy is. Vibrantly alive peace. It is the joy of knowing yourself as the very life essence before life takes on form. The very life essence before life takes on form. What if I moved there in that moment when I'm being that? What if I remembered that very life essence before all of this decided to show up? I don't know about you, but I think I could find joy in that. That is the joy of being who you truly are. I remember working on a mission statement in a large unity church. Oh my goodness, wordsmithing will make you a sinner. I am telling you. It will separate you from the essence. And in that process, I remembered saying, we were wrestling around. You are an expression of, you are the essence of, you are. And I said, we are God. Oof, step too far. That's too big. Everybody's not going to get that. I said, that's the whole idea, isn't it? It's a mission. And when I live in it, and when I own it, and when I stand in it, even when I'm that which isn't so pretty, I give permission to the spirit and the essence of everyone around me. I give that in my presentation as a human, in my remembering that God is and we are. I think it could make a difference in a day. I think it could make a difference in a life. And I know that God is and we are. And in that, I rest and find peace and I give thanks. Namaste.
Thank you, dear one, as always. And now we turn to Queen Victoria.
Hello, Brother James. Good
Good
morning to
morning to you.
everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you know where we're getting ready for a Halloween party today, this afternoon with the swim girls that live in the neighborhood. And Halloween is so much fun because everyone knows they wear a costume. We're going to wear yet, but we have all kinds of things ready to play with everybody. So what hits me in all of this, God is, I am, God is but love, and therefore so am I, is that God's much more ordinary than we think. And I think if we let God and Jesus and Mary and all the rest of them, and you know I love all of them, if we kind of take them off the pedestal, we put ourselves in a family of being rather than, something we have to reach for and we never get to. And what occurs to me and what's been happening actually over the last few years, I've been guided very directly to question all the little things that we take for granted, all the routines, to let myself be directed by my soul rather than my ideas. Because what are we letting go of? We're always letting go of this idea that shows up in a particular form. But this is about letting go of the idea of being ourselves. And what I've been learning is when I ask for the little things, like what to do when I'm in the pool, what to eat, what to drink all day long, it's a game of wonder like a little kid. And what does it do? It puts us present. It puts me right in the now in a fun, happy, easygoing way because there's no bad outcome. The only outcome is if I miss the directive and I do something, oh, I say, well, I guess I wasn't listening well. Let me redo that. There's no bad outcome in living like a kid in wonder and letting go of the moment of what we expect to do. I expect to have lunch at noon. I expect to have breakfast in the morning. I expect to take a walk in the afternoon. No, I don't expect anything anymore. I haven't got a clue. And that is, if you look at kids, they are naturally inclined to that. And we are too, when we really let go of the routine idea that we've all settled for, the costume, the routines that come with the costume. So that's what I'd say. Be ordinary and learn to trust the prompt in your heart as your soul speaking to you, as Christ speaking to you. Trust it, follow it, make mistakes. Don't worry about it. That's what I'd say. Thank you, Brother James. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Love
Thank you,
you.
dear Queen Victoria. We usually call her Sister Noreen the Queen, but they're just two coins in the same hat. You carry that energy for us and lift us. So we're very grateful. And also to you, Penny. I feel so blessed just to have these two strong feminine goddesses at each side of me. And I'm sure we all feel that, the blessing of having them both share with us every day. So let's go right back into the energy of God is and I am that. So I'm going to invite you all to stand, even on Zoom if you want. You can stand and just feel the energy of this chant. If you want to dance, if you want to put your hands up in the air, the key is to feel, not just to sing. So here we go. Oh, let me put it up on the screen as well. Hold on. God is done. 1 second. Do, do, do. Dum. Okay, here we go. God is, and I am that. God is, God is, God is only love. God is, God is, God is only love. And I am that. And I am that. Really feel that. God is, God is, God is only love. God is, God is, God is only love. And I am that. And I am that. A couple more times. God is, God is, God is only love. God is, God is only love. And I am that. And I am that. Wrap your arms around yourself and let's sing it one more time. God is, God is, God is only love. God is, God is, God is only love. And I am that. And I am that. And to that we say, Amen, Amen, Amen.
Amen.
Puto. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James.
Have
Thanks
a
for the
beautiful
music.
day. Namaste.